What is up, you guys? The Fallout Would Have here, and today I'm doing the what if. What if Deku had cybernetics part 2? Now, where we last left off was, we had her in the bedroom, and Deku kind of, got freaked out, and this is when Zero was saying, "Master, what is it?" And he says, there's the two of them, and I'm wondering what happened. And not only that, why are they in my room? Why am I half naked? Why are they half naked? And second of all, where are my parents? This is when, Zero says, "Sir, your parents went off to work, and these two came to see you, but due to you fighting the Sludge Man, or the Sludge Villain, as he is called nowadays, you got into a fight with him. You blacked out after defeating him and technically killing him, and you are also not in trouble since the government, Melissa and May are soldiers. They were on duty, and they also said that you were on duty. Even though that is not the case, you weren't even supposed to be fighting, and you don't even have a hero license. They covered for you. So, yeah. This is what Deku says. And what about Bakugo? Bakugo is alright. He sustained minor injuries, but he will live. And it will not affect him in his hero work, or in his future hero work. And this is when Deku says, "Alright, so why did I, that doesn't explain why they're here, half naked. It doesn't explain the three of us half naked and in the bed." And this is when Deku says, "Wait a minute, did I lose my virginity?" And she says, "No, you still have not." This is when Deku says, I'm relieved, but I'm disappointed at the same time." This is when Melissa says, "Hey, Deku." This is when Deku says, "Yes. Ooh, are you okay? You seem to be, freaking out." Deku says, "Of course I'm freaking out. I have two beautiful women on my bedroom. And I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm just saying it's just, This is when May says, "Yeah, I think we understand what you're trying to say. You didn't expect for us to just, wrangle you in the bedroom, as they call it." And Deku says, "Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say right now. Thank you." May says, "Well, we decided, since we're going to be with you, we might as well, how should I say it? Well, we're your fiancés." And Deku says, "My fiancés? Wait a minute. How is this possible? We didn't even, exchange words. We weren't, even dating at first. Automatically, I have fiancés. All of a sudden, I have fiancés now." And Deku, he's within his rights to be, confused. But May says, "Deku, you saved us when we needed you the most. You saved Melissa, and you also saved me. Not only that, you lost your arms and you lost your arm and your two legs. Your back, I believe it says back, right? Yes, thanks, Melissa. You lost also your eye, and it was because that you were trying to save us. We are more than indebted. It's more than just being indebted to you. we love you. And Melissa now chimes in saying, yes, we love you. You were good to us. Not only that, you didn't do anything bad. We liked you because you were kind to us, and you stuck around with us even though we were a couple of nerds. Yeah, we have like more than just we have more like love for you than you can possibly imagine. Hopefully you feel the same way about us. And Deku was thinking to himself, well, I never thought of it that way. I would never have thought that these two would actually have feelings for me. And this is when Zero says, yes, these girls have feelings for you. And it's something that every girl has for someone who literally risked their life for them. And this is when Deku says, how do you know this? She says, I may not be a girl, but I was, programmed to have a female's voice. And I realized after all that, and due to me me having my own personality, I do see what they mean. And Deku's like, okay, that's actually very thankful. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very grateful to hear that from you. She says, no problem. Now, don't you dare try to, how should I say this? Don't you dare try to reject them. And Deku says, I will never reject them. And this is when they say, so you accept us? And he says, of course. Wait, hold on, not you. Wait, hold on. No, this is not right. I'm saying I like you, but, Deku is not having a good time right here. He's having a good time. He's seeing what he wants to see, but he's trying to say that they're not old enough to get married yet. Not only that, he's trying to talk to Zero too, and May and Melissa. So it becomes this whirlpool of what the heck. So this is when May and Melissa just get ready and they get dressed. And after all that, they're basically back to their usual selves. They're in normal attire, but, May usually wears her clothing, the way she wears, because she likes to get to work every time. Melissa wears just a fancy, clothing. And this is when they hear a knock on the door. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. And this is when Deku says, wait a minute, who is that? And this is when Zero says, it can't be an intruder. They're knocking on the door. Although it could be an intruder. And Deku says, okay. And he's like, all right, so let's see. Why are they knocking on the door? So Deku just gets up because he might as well open the door. And he sees a guy with orange hair. And he looks kind of like him. Well, not like him, but he has this kind of metal arm. And, well, it's all yellow and stuff. And his name is Charlie. And Deku is saying, I'm sorry, who are you? This is when he says, my name is Charlie, and you must be Izuku. Deku says, yeah, that's my name. This is when he sees the two girls, and he says, oh, good morning, you two. And they're like, oh, good morning. How did you find us? This is when Charlie says, you're trackers. And this is when they're like, oh, yeah. Deku's like, wait a minute, do you know these two? And wait a minute, how, trackers? This is when May and Melissa, Melissa just says, this is, one of our, higher-ups. His name is Charlie. He was with us during our times in the army, training in the military. And, well, as you can see, he has, he has the same thing as you have. Not really, but yeah, he tested out, and he's I guess he's a like a higher up soldier. He never actually speaks about the details on his work. Deku's like, okay, so this is when Deku is like saying, all right, now I need you guys to go right now. I gotta figure stuff out, and not only that, I gotta, try to prepare myself mentally for the exams. And this is when they say, exams? Jackie says, yeah, I'm going to be going to UA. This is when Melissa and May says, oh, wow. I mean, yeah, it's shocking. It's like, but you're thinking about doing that, like, while you were, not the same as you were before? Jackie says, what do you mean by that? May chimes in again, saying, yeah, you weren't going... without the arms and legs that you got, we didn't think that you would try to be a hero. Deku says, oh, yeah, that is true. I thought to myself, why not try to do it? I mean, there's no harm in it at all. I can try my very best to be a hero. This is when Charlie says, oh, so you're going to be a hero, huh? And this is when he says, yeah, I'm going to be a hero. And Charlie says, heroes are for losers. Why don't you join us? And Deku says, what's so bad about being a hero? And this is when he says, you don't have a lot of freedoms doing what you usually do. Deku says, well, I'm still going to be a hero. Besides, even if I wanted to be in the military, I don't know. They never held a candle when it came to, like, awesome things, like, All Might was. And Charlie takes is offended by this, and he says, you do know that we are far superior than any hero ever. And Deku says, I aim to be a hero, and technically I am a hero. I may not be a hero, may not be registered as a hero yet, but when it comes to heroes versus soldiers, I think the heroes have a lot of potential. Yeah, this doesn't sit well with him, and Deku does see that he's angry, and Zero says, warning, 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 and Deku says, what? And Melissa and May see what's going to happen. They would try to fight back, but they know that they are not, they are not higher than him, so they can't stop him at all. So what had happened is Deku gets pushed, and he falls to the ground. But Deku looks up at him and he says, what is your problem? And Charlie says, you literally think that heroes are superior to people of the military? We give up our lives and such. And Deku says, I'm not saying that you're not a contributor to happiness on this world. But when it comes to fighting dangerous fights, fighting those who literally, destroy cities, they're technically the ones that, protect us, not you. You guys may be good, but, you guys still have a lot more to learn if you think you're going to be better than a hero. Plus, they're good people. And this is when he says, oh, right, enough of this. And he pretty much picks up Deku, and he's about to punch him. But Zero basically says dodge. And after that, he basically moves on to the left side. Then, actually, his arm, 7, punches him in the face. After that, this is when 2 and 2 basically just, back themselves up. And they actually get in a fighting position. And Deku says that, wait, what's happening? This is when Zero says he is going to fight you, regardless of what you say. After all that happened, yeah, I would see that, you actually didn't understand that people will get mad no matter what. Oh boy, Deku is not going to be in a good mood after this. Now, Deku tells him, look, I don't care anymore. It's not that big of a deal. And Charlie says, oh, it is a big deal. And this is when Charlie turns basically into his form, which basically he puts on his armor. And he says, you think the people in the military are weak? I'll show you weak right now. And this is when he says, if you don't want your house to be broken or be damaged, then come over here. And this is when Deku says, oh boy, alright. Deku looks at him with an angry look. And Charlie says, well, at least you know how to look mad. But it's me. I've been in the military for a very long time. I am mad. And he basically is trying to punch, he tries to punch Deku. Deku blocks it with his arm, but he gets kicked in the stomach. After that, the guy basically, Charlie grabs his head and knees him in the face, putting him backwards. And Charlie's about to run towards him. This is when Melissa tells him to stop. And May says, Deku, are you okay? And Charlie likes those girls. He likes them a lot. Now, I know this is a big transition to fighting, but I've seen stuff like this before. This is pretty much not a normal thing in other places, but this is a very normal thing in places like Houston. Fights do happen a little bit more seriously. Just by saying the wrong word, you can get into a fight already. But Deku is not deterred by this. He says that he's fought people, he's fought somebody before stronger than him. And even he is much more of a threat than this guy right here. This is when Charlie says, oh, really? Why don't you show me what you got? And Deku says, alright, but I'm going to tell you this right now. You made the mistake of challenging me. And he runs towards him. After that, while running, his legs are actually working to the extent of him. Hold on here. Okay, sorry about that. So, like I was going to say, he's running, and basically Zero is telling the rest of them to concentrate to the point of, I forgot what I was going to say, but she tells the rest of the body parts to concentrate and to summon 8. And Deku is saying, wait a minute, who's 8? So while fighting him is getting his butt kicked. And when I mean his butt kicked, I mean Deku. He's losing. Deku is on the attack, but he's losing. And not only that, while this is happening, Charlie is taking fun into this, actually having fun with this, beating up somebody as weak as him, talking bad about, the army and all that stuff, because he was born like an army man. He was like, yeah, we're the army. Anybody who talks crap about us is going to get a fist. They're like the Chads, and they're like the Chads of the freaking army. Always getting upset and, crying when something happens, but use their fist for ending conflicts instead of using words. Well, Deku is getting beaten up, and Charlie's on the attack, and now Deku's on the defense, dodging all this stuff. Melissa and May are, kind of scared, because Deku is losing. And while this is happening, all you see is a ball. Well, technically a bit like think about a yoga ball. And think about a yoga ball hitting Charlie in the head. And actually, this is heavier and much more bigger, like much more heavier than Charlie realized. This is because it's not a regular ball. This is when 0 says activation. 7 says activation. 2 and 2 say activation. And number 10 says activation. Initiating protocol. Wild child. This is when the ball actually hits Deku, and Deku is like thinking to himself, wait, what's happening here? And 0 says, just put this on. It will attach to you immediately once it knows who you are. Deku says, it's like a big surprise every time. This is when they're like, wait a minute, that's our creation. And May is like, wait, our creation? How did it get over here? This is because David is actually saw some of the creations that May and Melissa did, and David was like, all right, buddy, we need you to help Deku out in certain situations. Yeah, you're not 100% perfect, but you are the best of the best when it comes to stuff like this. Deku is somewhat being absorbed by the ball. Actually, it's weird because the ball is getting bigger, but it looks much more clearer the more time passes on. Deku saw Charlie's invention, and he saw his armor, and this is when he says, I don't care what anyone says. I like the way I am. I like being and I like UA. Well, I like heroes in general. So I'm not going to be your average freaking, robotic man. I gotta come up with something better than that. And this is when they're looking at everything that he's saying and thinking to themselves, this is what we need to look like. And this is when the smoke is like, the smoke is clearing, because it did technically have a big, it was steaming up a bit. But Charlie is saying, what the heck is that? And he sees a smile across his face. And he sees his hair long, but not actually real hair. This is when he sees his arms and his legs, everything around him covered up in weird clothing. And this is number 8. His name is Wild Child. I know that I think there's an anime that has this guy, but I thought to myself, he looks so freaking cool. No one can tell me anything. Nobody can tell me different here. His name is number 8. He's known as Wild Child. Now, what happened to his arms? What happened to his legs? Why are they different? Well, they're somewhat connected to the shoes, and they do change their shape so that way it can fit in different objects. Like if Deku's hand is bigger and there's a glove, it can shrink just a little. It can shrink or basically change the way it looks in order to actually fit the glove. So did his feet. Not only that, he's in a weird armor, and this is no regular armor. You think this is just like a jacket and all that stuff? Well, it's not. It's not a regular jacket at all. Deku is saying, "Oh boy, this looks so freaking cool. I'm a bit taller." This is when they're like, yeah, you are technically a bit taller. You're not actually humongous, but this is you now. Sure, you could get out of the suit, but, you know, we're gonna keep this on for a while. Deku is, like, moving around. He actually feels lighter. Well, he feels light, not heavy. And this is when he says, what does he do? Wild Child is a special kind of machine, or a special kind of suit, built for wild combat. And Deku says, what's wild combat? And this is when Zero says, he is an amalgamation of powerful and crazy and infinite possibilities. We thought about calling him infinite, but at the same time, he's not infinite. He's pretty much straightforward at times, but you know, he's different. He's special. He's our special. This is when he activates his voice. I am number 8. And I'm ready to kick some ass. And this is when Deku says, he has a weird personality. Oh yeah, he likes to charge forward, and he literally doesn't have a plan. He goes along with it. He goes with the flow, as you probably may be noticing right now. This is when Charlie says, it doesn't matter what armor you're in. That doesn't even look like armor. It looks like regular street clothes from a gangster. Or from a punk kid. Like you. And this is when Deku says, tell me how to fight now. This is when Wild Child says, don't worry. I've copied all of your moves. All I just need you to do is follow what I do. This is when Deku is like saying, just concentrate? Yeah, just concentrate. Just do all that fun stuff. We're going to take this thing for a ride. And Deku does, by jumping up in the air and actually shooting out his grappling hook, grabbing Charlie's leg and actually pulling him up. This is when Deku just kicks him in the face, and after that, Deku's on the ground while Charlie's on his back. This is when he says, "Oh, what kind of machinery is this? You just have clothes." And this is when Wild Child says, no, we're not just clothing. We're an amalgam. We're more than that. We are that of which you spit on. We're going to be something that you're not going to like. And he says, what's that? They say, a hero. And this is when Charlie says, alright. You're gonna call yourself a hero. Fine. You wanna play hero? Let's play hero. I'll play as the villain. And this is when he starts shooting electricity out of his hands towards Deku. But Deku just dodges it. And he actually is holding on to the electricity. Saying, why is he holding my thunderbolts? That sounds gay, but, you know. Deku is pretty much stopping the bolt's current, and is actually just making it stay as if it was still. This is when he just starts running towards Charlie, and while dragging the electricity, pretty much punching him with his own attack. Now, this is when Wild Child says, alright, you ready for round 2? Or are you gonna stay there? This is when Charlie says, I am a soldier. I am a soldier of the military. Nothing like this could stop me. This is when he gets a full kick in the face. And after that, he actually shoots actual thrusters on his feet. And he can actually float for a couple of seconds. But that's not what he's thinking. He actually kicks him with both feet, pushing him as hard as he can, especially with the thrusters, pushing him even farther, and Deku is landing on his feet while he's on his back again. This is when Charlie says, Mei and Hatsune are... Mei and Hatsune? Sheesh. Mei and Melissa are actually, like, surprised and dumbfounded by Deku's new abilities. This is when he says, "Come on now, this isn't all you have. Where's that sense of bravado that you had beforehand? Where's that, where's that soldier spirit? I still want to take a few cracks at it." Now, this is when, basically, Deku is about to get actually shot with a gun, and his clothing reacts accordingly by by hardening up to the highest extent, actually stopping the bullet from hitting him. This is when he realizes that his clothing, not only just his mask, is hardened up to the point where it will not actually hurt. It's fireproof, it's lightning, it's electrical proof, it's waterproof, it's cold, it's ice proof, and it will take a very long time to try to even tear it with a regular knife. Impact still hurts. Like, you'll still hurt Deku as long as it's stronger than a bullet. Even if it's an anti-tank rifle, Deku can take probably 2 of those before the third one destroys his clothing altogether. This is when Deku just sees Charlie just getting ready to shoot again, and Wild Child grabs something out of his back. And he says, "Oh, I forgot. You may think that that's all I have, but I have a special trick up my sleeve." And he shows his gun. And if anybody's ever seen, like, hasn't ever seen, like, the Olympia from Black Ops 2, yeah, that's what Deku has, but futuristic and much more longer, like a rifle. Has a lot more impact, too. And this is when Deku just says, "Alright, I'm ready." And Wild Child says, "Alright." They actually shoot the gun, and it hits Charlie so hard that his armor breaks, and all they see is like a blue light just enveloping in freaking Charlie. Charlie's unconscious, actually. This is when he says, "This is supposed to be the best armor ever. How do you have something even better than what I have?" This is when Deku says, "You're not going to understand, but this is something that was given to me because of a bad thing that happened in the past. But I didn't cry about it. I accepted it. Sure, it took a lot of time, but you can change." This is when Charlie says, "I won't give up. Not now. Not ever." But Deku puts his hand on in the opening where, you know, he shot his gun. And he shoots out, well, enough electricity to stun Charlie, and then one good punch in the head sends him onto the ground. Melissa and May are surprised, dumbfounded. They are basically shocked on Deku's improvements, Deku's fighting style, and not only that, Deku's will to not actually kill him. But after all that, Wild Child's gone. He pretty much turns into a ball again, and Deku saying, "Thank you." Now, sorry about that. I was wondering if I was going to, you know, put those two together as a collage instead of, you know, trying to. I shouldn't have. I probably should have deleted those when I had the chance, but yeah, it's stuck there for a while until I get ready for an 18+ scene. Anyway, Deku is calmed down after that. They're surprised, and Charlie's down. May says, "I'm going to take Charlie here back to the officials, because he technically fought a civilian, even though the civilian didn't do a thing to him at first. Hopefully, all they'll just see is us, like, writing a report. This is when Melissa says, alright, I'll stay with Deku. And this is when May says, do you want to switch? And she says, nope, don't want to switch at all. This is when May says, rats. Damn it. This is what she's like, this is when she's basically dragging him into the truck, because the other soldiers did see this, and she's actually smacking him a lot. And this is when they're like, May, stop it, he's a higher up. And she says, no, I don't care, I was gonna get that Deku dick. Oh boy. So, after all that, Melissa basically is sitting with Deku, and Deku is back to the way he was, saying, I am different than them now. I didn't know I had even better armor than they had. And this is when Melissa and May said, yeah, well, we're gonna have to make them armors one day. And not only that, we used a lot of resources to help to make you, or to make the new you. And Deku says, thank you. And this is when he realizes that he likes Melissa. Not only that, he realizes that he likes May. Like, a lot more than he did, like, it sparked up after realizing how much hard work they put into making this stuff. Deku tears up. And Melissa says, Deku, what's wrong? Now, this is when he grabs Melissa's face, sweetly and gently, and places his lips on hers. Melissa is actually turning beet red. And she says, Deku, you kissed me. And Deku says, I know. I realize that you are special to me. You and May both. I was a little nervous about, the whole being fiancés and all that stuff, but I realized that you're somebody that I need a lot. So, I wanted to do this with her, but now that she's left, I'll just do it for you. I'll do it to you right now. Melissa Shield, will you marry me? This is when Melissa starts to tear up, and she basically just jumps on Deku, kissing him. And Deku says, no, I guess this is a better answer than saying no. So, woohoo! Now, I'm going to end it off here with this whole situation. Deku is going to be training on the next week, next episode. So hopefully you liked it. And like I always say before, and I'll say it again, no matter how many times you may not like it, no matter how many times it may bore you, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel here, people. It's been the Fallout with it for here. Bye.